Ah, you caught me making preparations for the end. You heard me. The end. There's a bigger epidemic coming to us than just some virus. That's right. And this doomsday will be called Valentine's Day. So in preparation, I thought I'd be the one to help out my fellow destroyers and virgin acolytes out there with a film so deep and daring your significant other won't be able to keep from dicking down with a doomed and dark cinephile of your caliber. And if you notice what all the D words I'm using, you'll probably know what word is coming next, and that would be dick, which could describe many themes of today's film and the director himself. Today I will be talking about the 2001 film Ichi the Killer, or if you prefer the manga name, Koroshiya Ichi. Both revolve around two professional killers, Kakihara and Ichi, and their bloody game of cat and mouse. It's a fucked up piece of cinema I discovered recently, so if you're not a fan of gore, enjoy my other bad video. For the rest of you perverts, this is a treat. It's a film so good it actually made me want to read the source material. Yeah, there's pictures, but they're worth 1,000 pornographic words. And with reading the manga, it made me appreciate just how good this adaptation is in comparison. More on that later. You can't really talk about this film without mentioning Takashi motherfucking Miike. Destroyer of conventional film techniques, the e-girl of thousands of simp cinephiles, and the love of my life. A man more interested in motorbike races than cinema, Miike is more fitting the role of a sleazy Yakuza member in the video circuit than a professional filmmaker, whose critical acclaim reaches all the way to pretentious film students in America. The only reason why he didn't join the Yakuza, as he described it, it required too much effort, which kind of reflects his film style as a whole. Miike rides the line between amateur and professional as though he never grew out of being a teenager. His films contain seemingly random shots and effect that I believe he added just because he thinks that they look cool. Don't get me wrong, his films look great at times. While the story may be lacking in a lot of his films, they all provide striking visuals that show some real artistry and, dare I say, understanding of conventional film technique. Also, they're kooky. I feel like the label of bad boy has gotten into Miike's head, as many of his films he's attached to contain scenes of extreme violence and hardcore sex that would be easier to explain to a person walking in on you that you're just watching a JAV. But I digress. His success is in due part to his ability to make films quick and cheap, and the fact that he does movies on fucking everything that would appeal to any teenager, like the fact that most of them are basically softcore porn. You got horror films, ding. Kids films, ding. Musical film, ding. School shooter film, ding. He was even given the rights to direct a film based on the Yakuza game series and the live-action version of Diamond is Unbreakable. So this is essentially a JoJo video, and I'm sticking to the original blood deal I made to make this channel. He's smart, and controversy does put you on the map. So reading some of the material on him does show that legitimately anyone can make a movie. He just did it in a way that makes studios want to slobber all over his misshapen cock. Moral of this is Miike is a director that should be looked at with interest instead of hate, as I've seen many reviewer write him off as either wacky trash or Japanese Christ because they just watch Audition once. He sometimes phones it in with his adaptations, JoJo being a perfect example, but Ichi the Killer goes beyond the source material. Oh yeah, we're talking about a movie. When people bitch about live-action adaptations being ass, they haven't dug deep enough. Talk about the DBZ movie or the recent Death Note adaptation all you want. Ichi the Killer presents class.
Why would you fuck with me?
Like smoking a cigar and sipping whiskey in a room covered in cut-apart corpses. This film is greasy, and I say that in a good way. It captures what it must be like to live on the seedy underbelly of Japan. A lot of Miike's films are very similar. They make you feel dirty, but I can never look away. I think this is in part to cinematographer Hideo Yamamoto. It all looks as if you were watching the events taking place on a grainy security camera. You think you feel safe in that little booth, but you know somewhere these events are happening, and they are as brutal as they look.
One of these before? What's it used for? What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? It's for jacking off.
Also, Hideo is the original artist and writer for Ichi and Homunculus. While I haven't read Homunculus for reasons, I have read the entirety of Ichi, and I have to say it's, The art is wonderful, but story elements are lacking. I've heard Hideo doesn't know how to end things, so I'm glad that he passed up the screenplay for Miike's version. Who wrote this? Oh. If you've seen Gozu, well, you know how it ends. With a story to actually go off though, this adaptation is in its own special reality instead of some incomprehensible mess that feels random for the sake of random.
Welcome to the Cum Zone.
There are weird parts, but everything else seems connected to the plot and themes, most of the time. There's a lot more to appreciate in this film adaptation than just a strange plot or the gore that it's mostly known for. It's less exploitative than the manga, as the manga is, well, let's just say, I could feel the pain right down to my dick. The film is named after our kind of main character, Ichi, who is, he's, Ichi's your basic incel. He plays video games all day, stays inside, kills women, but at least he has a job. He's a contract killer, taking orders from a group of men who injected so much NTR porn into his brain, he thinks every person that he has to kill is related to a bully from school. Usually jobs end by making him cry before he splits a motherfucker in half. He perfectly mirrors our other protagonist, Kakihara, leader of a Yakuza gang that tries desperately to find out who killed their leader. Hint hint, it might be Ichi. Both represent a side of dark sexual desire. Now, I don't mean to get Sigmund Freud on you guys, but sex. The film contains various themes of sexual identity, masculinity, common relationship problems, and family.
And that's what's so powerful about it.
Forget those shitty rom-coms that come out around Valentine's Day, and pop this DVD in with your significant other and remember what it means to love.
Maybe I should throw next time.
In a lot of ways, this is a romantic comedy, and I use the word comedy more than romantic because the only thing romantic about this film is how the color red is used so prominently. When the footage isn't looking like Freddy Fazbear video feed, the framing is set up geniusly. That genuinely gives off a comedic aura. A lot of the shots provide for a space for actors to move around and the set to be more than just dressing. Most of the panels that are in the manga have been replicated to transcend what paper cannot do. Wow, I wish more people would do that. Background characters react to what's going on, and some little details just make me chuckle. But the real reason this is on anyone's radar is the gore. Being banned in several countries does come with a few reasons, as many of the scenes are hard to stomach if you're not used to this sort of thing by now. Don't forget about various references to drug use, abuse, and sadism. You got a recipe for a movie that would make any Christian mother make a long blog post that no one would read. If you're anything like me, where you've seen so many violent films you've become a husk of your former self, you'll find Ichi the Killer very refreshing. Kakihara is the best thing to hit the film screen since Steve McQueen. His original character design was given a facelift along with his character arc, much like Steve McQueen. Kakihara stays true to his sadistic nature till the very end, unlike, how the manga ends. You might say a character who stays the same throughout the entire story doesn't sound interesting, but you'd be dead wrong, motherfucker. You love him like those strange people on the internet love the Joker, but at least Kakihara makes me want to hide my shame for many different reasons. If you're not into the characters, which I would imagine would be most of you, the amount of violence is something to marvel at, and the accurate recreations of some of the manga's most famous scenes. That's why it's all the more frustrating when the scenes use CGI, when a practical effect could have easily been done. Not to bitch like someone who's just watched the thing, but like, really, Miike? Was it so hard just to open the door and throw some prop legs through it? I mean, it's not like you didn't have any lying around. But there is a level of detail with some of the set pieces I cannot undermine. Like how they used real cum from one of the actors for the title.
Yeah, this doesn't feel safe.
I think out of the 7 fucking films Miike apparently made in 2001, this is by far his strongest. Best Yakuza story, best surreal visuals that actually tie into the story, best commentary on the bullying epidemic that was happening in Japan, best cum. So get cozy with your better half and watch something with a whole lot of heart and a whole lot of guts.
Oh, ごめんごめん。はいしゃん。大丈夫です。ごめんね。いや、すぐ行きますから。はいはい。